How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this rare Monday night here at Wrestling Talk Live. I'm joined here with my special guest, Rafael Chacin. You know him as Capitan Rafucho. How's it going, bud? How you doing?
I'm very good. I'm very good. So excited to be here on this special episode. And well, there's a lot of things to out about in SummerSlam because there's the best and the worst thing about it. So
Yes,
I'm
there's a
excited.
lot. Exactly. No, you hit the nail on the head right there. There is a lot of good things to talk about. There's also a few things that kind of I didn't personally like about SummerSlam as well, and we'll talk about them and see what we think. So we're gonna go down the matches really quick, but before we do that, um, I want us to for our viewers that may not be too familiar with Rafael. Rafael, can you tell our viewers a little bit about you? How did you get into podcasting and things like that?
Okay, so my name is Rafael Chacin. Right now, I'm living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And for those guys who didn't know about this, I was originally born and raised in the city of Barquisimeto, Venezuela from
Hey.
1993. And of course, I got to tell you folks, because I have a great knowledge with sports and of course wrestling, because during my time that I was in college, but I was 18 years old, I have a great experience during providing sports. And of course, since I was living right here in North Carolina, Charlotte, I was getting involved with the podcast and everything about it. So I mentioned a little about it because it's something like it's really hard to explain it about it because right now I had to go for it. And 2 years ago, I was trying to do my own podcast, which is Captain's Corner. And then it's getting really better about it, the subscribers and everything. So I was doing like the baseball watch parties, wrestling watch parties. Even today, I was portraying the play-by-play between Venezuela versus France, a
Yeah, that was good.
pre-warm game before the FIBA World Cup on basketball.
Yeah. No, I was watching. I think I said hi to you earlier. It was in the afternoon over here, obviously, and so
That was an
I saw
afternoon. That was
that.
an afternoon.
Yeah, it was an afternoon. I saw. I was, oh, he's on live. So I checked it out, and I saw your play-by-play call. Man, it's pretty good.
It
I like how you
is.
did your play-by-play call, man. So
Mm-hmm.
congratulations on that, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I checked out your show before, man. It's pretty good, very informative, and I'm a fan. I'm a
Yep.
fan of it. So, man, I'm glad to have you here, man. Honestly, but let's hit the
Yes.
comment section really quick. We got Daniel Barry from Sports Highlights. Says what's up,
Hello,
and
Daniel.
Robert Marquez says saludos soy Guado. So there you
Oh, Robert Marquez. Saludos. Saludos.
go, Robert Marquez. Okay, so um, man, a lot to talk about in SummerSlam. So first, let's go down a little bit of the on the list. So I want to talk about the Logan Paul and Ricochet match. I I liked it. It had some little spots here and there. Ricochet, I'm just a big fan of his in ring work. Always been a fan. Like I've said it in other podcasts before. I've always been a big fan of how do you call it, of Ricochet's in ring work, even when he was in Lucha Underground as Prince Puma. Uh, and so every time he's on in the ring, I'm always like looking forward to what he's gonna do. The match had a few spots here and there. I honestly like Logan Paul's in ring ability. Now it's not obviously he hasn't been in the game as long as like Ricochet or some of these guys have, but his in ring ability is actually not bad for, I guess you want to call it, a celebrity, right? And
Yeah.
you know, I I don't know how I felt about the end of the match with the brass knucks, but maybe it adds some more fuel to this storyline. Maybe they're going to drag it on more. So we'll see what happens. Of course, Rio's watching us right now. Said Tim Anderson getting knocked out was the best one this weekend.
Oh,
That's true.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is
that's
true.
right.
That
That was
is
a good
true.
one. So honestly, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you think of this match? If I was to give it a grade, I'd say I'd give it a solid. I'd probably give it like a B.
Yeah, they're between the Logan Paul because the producers they wanted to say it of Logan Paul versus Ricochet the first at the beginning because Logan Paul he's the brother of Jake and
Right.
he knows this very better for the boxing fight against Nadia. So I just wanted to put earlier, and of course that is good for it. I mean, they have the both talented, very good at their wrestling ring. I mean, if you're looking at the Logan Paul and Ricochet back in the ways of Royal Rumble, I'll be able to see like the ability and of course the ability of two incredible performance at the ring, and of course on Logan
Hmm.
Paul, it just renewed the contract. And for the brass knuckle, I think it had to put a lot of intensity about the
Yeah.
storyline. But right now, it seems like they had most intense performers like Ricochet and Logan Paul, because I know for a fact because Logan Paul, he's a YouTuber, it turns out
Right.
for a luchador. But then
Hmm.
the Ricochet, he has a lot of experience,
A
not
lot.
only in NXT but also in the at the wrestling for the WWE. But I was just kind of like, this is very this is very intense. I mean that both performers like Logan Paul and Ricochet, they just put
Hmm.
a lot of style. They had the high style
It did.
flying. They have the punches right now. I just mean, this is the very good, but it seems like that the brass knuckles they have to put a lot of intensity of the other way right now. But it kind of like I really like it, but this is kind of like they have the bow intensity of the ring.
Yeah, it's a typical WWE finish. Somebody had
Yeah,
to
it
get the upper
is.
hand in a different way. So
Yeah,
it's a typical. I mean, not just real WWE, a typical wrestling finish if you think about it. So, like us as wrestling fans, we're used to that type of finish. Like some way or somehow something had to happen where it just keeps the storyline going. So, um, the match itself, like I said, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, but I think I don't know. The brass knucks, I didn't like the brass knucks. Maybe something else. I don't know. But just the intensity of the brass knucks, I was like, I don't know. It seemed like a typical,
no, that
you
was
know,
something that I
some.
just
It just didn't. It seemed almost a little bit like lazy writing. Like, oh, just use the brass knuckles. We'll see what happens from there.
yeah. Let's see
Or
whatever that happened right now.
you know,
Let's see what's
you know
gonna
what it
happen.
was. It was a Vince McMahon audible. He was like, no, 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 send the
Yeah, that was
brass
a
knuckles
classical
in.
movement.
Yeah, it's a
That was a
classic move.
classical
So
movement. Yeah,
Vince McMahon. I had to be Vince McMahon from his hospital bed right now. Just
yeah,
get him the brass knucks. That's what's happening. Uh, Anyway,
yeah.
so what would you rate that if you were rating it A, B, C, or D or F?
I would rate it like it a between a B with the
B.
brass knuckles. I would rate it like it a B plus.
B plus. Okay. A B plus. Yeah. So we're almost about the same. B plus. It was an entertaining match to watch, to say the least. It was a good one to watch.
Yeah.
Um. All right. So let's go over to, let's see, what's the other one that I want to talk about. The SummerSlam Battle Royale. Now, the SummerSlam, it was obviously like almost like just leading the way for a good while, and then like everybody just ganged up on him, and then just everybody threw him out the ring all at once. I don't know if you saw that spot where he like tore the ring apron apart on the side of the ring. I
Yeah.
was like, that's kind of cool. In my mind, I'm thinking, is that supposed to happen? I don't know, but whatever. They took care of it. But LA Knight, they had some really good spots in it. I'm always a big fan of the battle royales. Like even Royal Rumble is like one of my favorite pay-per-views to watch because surprises, and you never know how somebody may botch something like Kofi Kingston did this past year, this Royal Rumble, or you just never know what's going to happen. It's very surprising. So, did you expect LA Knight to go away with that one or no?
I was really expected about LA Knight winning the Battle Royal, but it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen like at a title shot or getting an opportunity. But I was really shocked to see LA Knight winning the pay-per-view of SummerSlam
Mm-hmm.
between the Battle Royal, because this is about that time. Because I know that
Yeah.
for a fact because they're getting like the push too much. But right now it is like at a different time to see LA Knight winning
Mm-hmm.
like at the pay-per-view. And don't be expected about it, because I can see the really potential about this talent, because
Yeah.
I know for a fact because LA Knight, he's been great on the mic. He's been great out of all these movements. I think it's gonna be like on the next pay-per-view. Don't be expected if LA Knight's gonna be like pursuing like a title. I mean, this could be like a make it or break it. I mean, there's a times that the titles. There's a lot of titles that go through the spectator, and this is gonna be like the next big thing. Because after The Rock, after Stone Cold Steve Austin, I mean, LA Knight could be like the next big thing on that generation. Because he had the
Mm-hmm.
style, he had everything about it. He brought a lot of hype, he brought a lot of attention of the newcomers WWE fans. I mean, it could
Yeah.
happen like this one.
No, exactly. I agree 100% with you. So right now, LA Knight right now is the hottest thing out there right now for WWE. He's generating money. I mean, he's a top seller. I think he beat like Roman Reigns' like reign of t-shirt being like the most t-shirts selling by Roman Reigns. So now he took over that. That's a clear sign. I think when you start making that type of impact on WWE, they start listening. It's only when you start impacting the money. If he
Uh-huh.
starts generating sales, I mean, I have one of my buddies last week, Bruce, came on the show and he told us how he ordered an LA Knight shirt and he's still in almost like in a waiting list for his latest LA Knight shirt. So I mean that tells that there's obviously potential there. We know he has a ring ability. He has the mic skills, but it almost seems like those mic skills he's had since he was Eli Drake back in Impact or whatever. But you started seeing some of those tendencies that he has now. Um, but obviously the NXT stuff worked as well, and now he's there. I like how he's grown into that system. That same system that brought The Rock, Stone Cold, Cena. He's exceeded those expectations. He's exceeding those expectations in through that system. You brought up a good point when you said, don't be surprised if you expect
Don't be
them.
surprised.
Yeah, don't be surprised if by the next pay per view he's chasing after a title or whatnot. Now, let me ask you this: since he's going through that system, you know how The Rock, John Cena, and Stone Cold, those big three guys, went through the system of hitting for like a small, not I don't want to say smaller belt, but like a U.S. title or a Intercontinental or whatnot. Do you see LA Knight going for that first, or do you see him going maybe after, let's say, a Seth Rollins or something like that type of heavy? Because
Maybe he's going after Austin Theory because
you
I
think
wanted
that's
to
okay?
go for it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go for it. Yes,
Okay.
I think
And
he's
that's
gonna
gonna
be chasing up for the USA title. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Because right now, I think they're gonna with Gunther, they're gonna end up just letting him keep the title until he breaks the record or whatnot. I think it's a Honky Tonk Man's record. So I could see him going against Austin Theory. It would make for a great story, and I think it would kind of push both of them at the same time while that's happening. So it would be entertaining to watch because, like we said, he has an in ring skill, he has a mic skills like crazy, and everybody already
Exactly.
he's got the his version of the people's elbow. That I honestly I like the leap he does all the way to go get to that his version of the people's elbow. I like his I forgot I can't think of the name of the move right now, but it almost looks like a stunner in a way. But
Uh the
uh
the most electrifying elbow. The most electrifying elbow.
no, yeah, the elbow too. But what's the other move? I can't think of the name of it right now. Something with trauma in it. Let me see. I can't think of it right now. Finisher. What's it called? It is. I can't remember off the top of my head right now.
All
Well,
right, so I
okay.
better go for the elbow movement. I mean, you mean like the elbow drop?
No, not the elbow drop. The one that almost looks like a stunner in a way. Like it almost looks like a stunner. I can't think of it. Well, I'm like drawing a blank on the name right now. Blunt force trauma. Thank you. That's it. Blunt force
Oh,
trauma.
almost drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blunt force trauma. That's the move right now. It's the way that he does it. Oh wow, I'm looking at Shayna right now, and she's got the purple eye on her from the match against Ronda Rousey. Um, that was so. Sorry. So, what would you rate the SummerSlam Battle Royale if I were you? I'm gonna give it about a B. Also, I think it was good. It had
Yeah.
its surprises, but I feel like I expected LA Knight to win that. So, what would you rate it?
I will say with the routine B plus because
B plus.
after that because right now that like I say about it, LA Knight he got the moves, he got the mic. I mean that he can surprise everybody else in this generation. But I will say like B plus.
B plus. Yeah, that sounds like a good one. I'll take that. So again, so now our first match, Ricochet. I said B. You said B plus. Same thing with this one. So we're pretty much about the same on that one. So great
Yeah,
mind things
yeah, yeah.
alike, sir. So let's see. The next one I want to go to. Well, since we're looking at on Raw right now, and Shayna Blazer is over here trying to get her new storyline. There. So she's got the mark on her eye. What did you think of the Ronda Rousey Shayna Baszler match. I'll go for. You want to go first, or should I go first? Whatever. You want.
Man, what should I start it for Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler? I mean, there was just like a terrible booking, but because
Yeah.
this seems like it had to go for MMA rules. And listen,
Right.
Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, they are former UFC fighters, and
Right.
they
UFC
was changing
fighters.
it out for WWE for like a
Mm.
short period of time. And I don't know how does it go for the terrible booking and have to go for MMA rules. I mean, if
Mm.
have you ever seen like the Ronda Rousey on the mic over the last shows right now? It
Yeah.
means like they have a lack of energy. And with the
Yeah.
come for Shayna Baszler, they are just lighting it up. And she has to go for like she's gonna do anything solo. And after that, that was really confused. And that was just
Yeah.
like a bad from the start to beginning. I mean, how the hell is it gonna happen with the booking like the MMA rules on a wrestling match on
Yeah.
this time right now? I mean that is it's very confusing at all. And after that, Ronda Rousey she decided to leave the WWE, and right now she's still with the Shayna Baszler go for a writing solo. I mean this is like a bad feeling, and I mean
Yeah.
that's happened for Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus, so they just changed it between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I mean that was like a terrible booking. I will say if Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus didn't have to go for injury, I would say that was gonna be like a great match. But
Right.
instead of about that, they have Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey for the MMA rules. I mean, who does it about that? It's very confusing about the wrestling fans.
It is. I agree with you. I didn't like the match per se because it just you know that okay. So I used to watch like UFC, you know, years ago. I haven't seen it that much nowadays, so I'm not too caught up with UFC. But when you start bringing in like UFC style rules or MMA match rules into something that you know it's sports entertainment, that to me that just kind of turns me off of it. You know, I just don't really
Mm-hmm.
care to see it. No matter who it is, really. I brought up a point last week on our show with our friends, and because we were wondering what's an MMA style rules match, right? I said
Yeah.
back in the '90s, like late '90s, they had a match. I think it was like the Lions Den match or something like that, and it was like Ken Shamrock versus Owen Harder or something like that. And the ring was like
Oh
circular
yes,
and
I
had a
remember that. I
cage.
remember
Yeah,
that.
and so I assumed it was going to be something like that, but not at all. So it was just basically their version of doing like MMA in WWE, which just as a
Yeah, that
fan, I'm
was
just
really
like, wow,
confused.
it was not.
And
I don't like it.
yeah, then also there was a fact because that was in WrestleMania, that was back in 2005 when they
Mhm.
got something like a sumo match, and
Oh
then they
yeah,
have
with Big
it.
Show.
And I agree.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was Big Show and Akibono. It's like I get it
yeah,
that
that was it.
you're trying to incorporate this, but I'm like, you know what? You stick to the reason we watch it is for the sports entertainment. Like and when you try to apply all these other things to it, I get that you were trying to maybe go for a creative change. It just didn't. To me, it just didn't work out like that. And I honestly, the match, like I expected Rousey to lose because there had been rumors already that she was going to end up leaving anyway, like
Mm-hmm.
WWE for to pursue something else or whatnot. So
Yep.
immediately when those rumors start flying, you're like, oh, Shayna's going to win it, you know. And so that's it. It became a predictable match, but it was just like I wanted to see how it was going to be executed, and even the execution of the match itself, I wasn't too thrilled about it. Yeah, I had like a few little spots that were kind of cool to see, but other than that, it was going to be reversal. Um, basically, kind of giving the power to either one of them at one point or whatnot, and then it was just it was a big change from like the WWE stuff. So I don't know. I think a lot of the people maybe felt this way as well, like you and I, but I didn't. I would say the match, if
Mm-hmm.
I were to grade it, I'd say probably C minus.
Yeah, I would say that because I would say that match between the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, I was looking at it like at a D minus.
Oh
I would
wow,
say
yeah,
D minus.
you're a harder grader than I am. That's
Yep.
yeah. I mean, I get it. I get it. I see your point. It it's even like talking about it. I'm like, how what? Even talking about it, it's kind of like hard for me to say what can I say that's nice about it. But because I'm all about positivity, but then I'm over here thinking this match didn't help me get a lot of positive vibes to it or anything in
Mhm.
that. So I'm like, it's hard. Like it's hard. But honestly, yeah, I would say C minus. You go with a D minus. It's clear. It's fair to say that it just wasn't. It just wasn't up to par or up to what the WWE audience standards was. Let's give a shout out to Daniel Berry, LA fan. Yo, what's
Hey,
up?
how's it going, Daniel Berry?
How's it going, bud? Good. Thank you for joining us on the show, man. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would say probably my least favorite match of the night. What about you?
Yeah, that was to say the least match that I was watching it for because everybody thought it was gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be like the best match, but no, in
No.
our opinion, this is gonna be the least and the worst match of the SummerSlam for that
Yeah.
edition.
No, exactly. And like you brought up the great point when you compared it with the big. I had totally forgot about that point. The Big Show and Akibono match. It was.
Akebono at the
Uh,
SummerSlam, yes.
yeah, it's almost like and again another one, Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather in boxing rules match. I'm like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there it is. That was in
uh,
WrestleMania 2008. Yeah, that was in
yeah,
WrestleMania 2008.
exactly. So it's funny because both of those involved a Big Show in it, and it's like, were you just being? It was almost like punishment. Were you just being booked to wrestle these off to be a part of these terrible matches?
Yeah.
Who did you anger backstage? Yeah, no, exactly. So now, easily, I guess, yeah, worst match of the night in my opinion. Let's move on to another match that I. Okay, so the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Drew McIntyre. I gotta say, I didn't expect Gunther to walk away with a clean pin on McIntyre. It was and I get that they're building him up, that they're giving him a push or whatnot. I just didn't know that they were really going to give him the clear pin for McIntyre. I just thought he was gonna win it, you know, some other way. Not obviously not using the brass knuckles, but like I just thought I was gonna win
Yeah, yeah,
some
yes.
different way, and I liked it. It was a pretty entertaining match. I actually like. I'm a big fan of Gunther, and I like how Drew McIntyre's in ring performance as well. So for a big dude like that he's built like that, it's just he's very entertaining to watch in
I mean, it was
WWE,
very
and
entertaining. It was very
yeah,
entertaining.
it was a good match. I'd say you know, Drew McIntyre's entrances are always pretty awesome to see him. So nonetheless, it had great. It was a good little back and forth. I liked it. I was gonna say the finish was pretty good also, and honestly, um, I like to say I gave this match probably maybe B plus on
Yeah,
this
I
one.
mean the match between Drew McIntyre and Gunther. I mean, that was just like the hard hitting physical
Mm-hmm.
match with
Yeah.
moments at getting the shots in. That I mean, that he was looking for the win
Chops.
after the Claymore, but
Yeah.
either he used it like a splash, and he was entering because he was held in like more than
Mm-hmm.
400 days as a intercontinental champion since June 2022. I mean,
Yeah.
one of the biggest challenge for Gunter is the intercontinental championship with with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And when Drew McIntyre just came back from the Money in the Bank, I mean, it seems like it's a rather revenge. They're about to go for the hardest hitting about to the chat. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
had the retain, but he had to come for them because he was joining about the forces. But finally had to go for it. I mean, between Gunther and Drew McIntyre, that was pushing out to the limit, and that was gonna because his reign is gonna be very intact. But I think this is gonna be like it's gonna be really exciting because and now he's more 1 month away to surprise the
Mm-hmm.
Honky Tonk Man. That's very impressive. That's very
It
impressive,
is.
and I would say that match is gonna be like B plus. I mean, if it
Yeah.
comes for the intensity of the both men in the ring, because
Right.
that's so hard to. They're so much hard to have to explain it because they are
Yeah.
incredibly intensity.
Yeah. And the storytelling was great too in the match. Like it was a
Yeah,
good
it
build up. They
is.
had great chemistry together, and I mean overall Gunther is just pretty good. wrestler overall, as long as along with Drew McIntyre, man. And so that was a really good, interesting match. Easily one of my top matches of the night, and I think so. Right, so Honky Tonk Man holds the record right now for 453 days for
Exactly,
the IC
exactly.
title. So there's you definitely know that he's going for that. I don't see Gunther losing that title anytime soon. I think as of let me see, I'm not sure how many days he's lasted for an astonishing. I think it's 400 and something days. He's close. He's very close. I know he beat the Macho Man's record already, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think it is. I think it is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
I
think
think
he
it
beat the
is.
Macho Man's record, and I think he's gonna
Mm-hmm.
go for the Pedro Morales. I think it's Pedro Morales next, and then after the Pedro Morales, he
Pedro
might have
Morales
beaten.
is gonna be the next one. I
Yeah,
mean, they gotta be
the
careful about that.
yeah, because I think Pedro Morales held it for 424 days, and then finally the Honky Tonk Man had it for 453. So it's not too far apart. Maybe like a month and something apart from each other. So easily, yeah. I think once he beats it, then that's when you're gonna start seeing Gunther like really, or unless they really want to solidify it and just like see how long he goes with it, you know.
Yeah,
But
yes,
yeah, like having Way at the top make that record kind of hard to beat or whatever.
it
Um,
is.
yeah, and so he's I for sure as a wrestling fan, I wouldn't doubt that he's going for that reign. So yeah, I would say I did give it a grade, right? I said like
Yeah,
B
you
plus,
say the
right?
B. You say B.
B plus.
Yes.
And what did you
Hmm.
rate it? I can't remember if you
I just say B plus. I just say B
B
plus.
plus.
Yeah.
So we agreed on that one basically. Yeah, that one
Yeah.
was
There
the
you
same.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
I agree. Yeah, it was a great one. Okay, let's move on. All right, the next one let's talk about the WWE Women's Championship: Asuka, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair match. Okay, I gotta tell you before I start even talking about this, uh, uh, who really strikes me right now, Charlotte Flair. My God, her ring performance. I don't know if it's gotten a lot better than what I was used to seeing from Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. He's
And
gonna.
like I've seen her like I've seen her like in matches before, but this particular match today, like one of my favorite matches was when she went against Mamiya, you want to call her, and that to me
Rhea
was a great
Ripley.
match. Yeah, Rhea Ripley, that was a
Yeah.
great match at WrestleMania. I thought that was amazing. And then I'm looking at her here in SummerSlam now, a few months later, and I'm like, dude, uh, freaking Charlotte Flair, she's doing all these backflips, she's doing all these things, and I've like become a big a fan, a more of a fan of Charlotte Flair today because I'm like, wow, I've seen her change. I guess like her some of her moves, but man, she takes the suplex, she takes everything, man. It's like I like seeing her perform. But so that match, I honestly wanted Bianca Belair to win it. But once she started going off with like selling the knee injury, I was like, she's not going to win it. And then in true WWE fashion, she wins it. You're like, yes. And I totally forgot about Io Sky's Money in the Bank. So that part really did catch me off guard. And then I see Io Sky just running down the ramp, and I'm like, she's gonna win it. And
Yeah.
she did. And honestly, I gotta say the match itself was good. It had some good spots. I thought the wrestling was really good in that match. And then with a surprise, for those that didn't forget, you probably weren't as surprised, but like me, I forgot about Io Sky, winning the Money in the Bank and then cashing it in. When she got that victory, I was like, I see it. I didn't. I first I thought Asuka was going to retain. In the previous show where we did the predictions, I thought Asuka was going to win it, but yeah. But I wanted Bianca to win it. But like I said, once she started holding that knee a little much, I was like, nah, she's not going to win it. It's almost
Mm,
impossible. But good finish. I'd like to say, and I think I would give that one a B plus.
hmm I mean, that was a great finish from the start to beginning. I mean, those women like Charlotte, Asuka, and Bianca Belair. I mean, like they have brought a great
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to see whether they got for the triple threat match. But I was but I was really stunned when I just saw Io Sky cashing in. I mean that.
Yeah,
Remember the last time that Liv Morgan just cashing in on
yeah,
SummerSlam? That was just like the perfect picture by picture. I mean, they
yeah.
have. I mean, they have this something there about it. I mean, it has to be done because right now the Ioska just won Money in the Bank, and then she got an opportunity to make it right for the SummerSlam. I mean, they both they both they both got a great opportunity to see
Mhm.
what they got for the women's division. I would say that match was gonna be like B. I would say B because doing to the
Me?
intensity of those women in the match, I would say B.
Yeah, I can see that. That works. Yeah, that intensity that they both brought in. I mean,
Yeah,
that all three ladies brought in. Wow, it was. I couldn't keep my eyes off the TV. It was such a great match. It had a good
it is.
spots when Bianca Belair did the flip on Charlotte Flair while she was doing the figure eight. I was like, oh snap!
Yeah, yeah, I was
That
like, oh my
was.
god.
I know. I was like, how is your back not broken? Yeah, no, that was that was good stuff. It was great to see. So that was a very very entertaining match. Also one of my top ones. Let's see the next one that I have on my list here. Um, I want to say no, not that one. The World Heavyweight Championship match: Seth Rollins versus Finn
Yeah,
Balor.
Finn Balor.
Okay, so that match itself, it was kind of what I expected, to be honest with you. It was basically, back and forth here and there. I am also a big fan of watching Finn Balor in the ring as well. I got to tell you this, and I always bring it up, but the reason I bring it up is because I have different guests every time. Um, so I personally, before we start talking about the match, I personally am not a big Seth Rollins fan. I cannot get into the laugh, the little psychotic laugh that he does. It's weird because I know a lot of people are into it, but I just cannot get into him. I can't take the character seriously,
Yeah,
and it's just like the thing is, and I get his popularity, but last week one of my buddies that was on the show, he said he's one of those wrestlers that he's popular because of the song and more than that. Don't get me wrong, his in ring ability is phenomenal, but I just think the character itself is. I could never get into it from its inception. That particular Seth freaking Rollins character, I can't get into it. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know, but I just can't get into it. First, before we go into the match details, how do you feel about the Seth Rollins character? Do you like it? How do you feel about it?
oof. Between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, I mean, they have a 7 years in the making because
Right.
remember that Seth Rollins just battled between Finn Balor for the Universal Championship, the
Right.
inaugural one. And
Yeah.
then on Raw after SummerSlam, Finn Balor just had to retire the title due to an injury. I mean, they had to go for like the biggest rivalry on
Right.
this
It's.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is gonna be like the biggest rivalry, and I thought that Damon Priest could cash in on the Money in the Bank for the title. I mean, I said, what the heck is going on for the Damon Priest cashing in for the Money in the Bank? I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense at all. It's like a very explosion for the Judgment Day. I mean,
Yeah.
if you got for anything could happen like this one. I mean, that match is very good because they both had a lot of great intensity
They
on
did.
the ring, and both they are former wrestlers for NXT, so they
NXT.
got to go for a polish it. So they got
Mm-hmm.
to polish what about the career, this talent, for the ability of this movement right now. So I would say that this is gonna be like between B. I will say B.
You got to be on that. You rate it as a
Yep.
B? Yeah. I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna go with B plus on that one. I really did like the in ring ability from both people. There was a small botch. I don't know if you saw it when I think when he
Yeah.
did his when he was applying his finisher. I was like, oh, it was. And the reason I'm saying a botch, I don't think he hit it correctly. And then the camera angle. Usually WWE's camera angles are on point, and I guess this particular one they caught it to the point where even a guy like me can actually was able to notice it. And so,
Yeah.
but the in-ring ability was great. It was a very entertaining match. Obviously, you know that they're going to be milking the. They're planting those little seeds of Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. So it's coming. I think it's now that SummerSlam's over. I think it's going to be more apparent. Um, it's going to be more apparent. That rivalry is going to heat up more, and I think it's going to lead up to a pretty decent feud between Damian Priest and Finn Balor, and which I'm actually excited to see because I really like I said, I've already raved enough about Finn Balor, but Damian Priest's in-ring ability is superb as well. Like that Bad Bunny match he had a Backlash with him, like he carried the whole match.
Yeah, he
He did,
cool. Yeah, they
and
did.
and not taking anything from Bunny because obviously Bunny did some of his stuff too, but like it was Damian Priest. Like after that match, I was like, oh, Damian Priest deserves a push because he carried that
Yeah, it
match.
is.
He
It is.
carried that
It
match,
is.
and so nonetheless, man, I was like, yeah. So sorry, I'm watching Raw right now, and like, dude, Shayna Blazer got like,
Yeah, they got for the Tony's. They had to go so Stark.
yeah. I'm like, man, she took a beating yesterday. No, not really much of a beating yesterday, but now she's doing it again. That's crazy. Not yesterday,
Oh
that's
yeah,
Saturday.
that's crazy.
She had a day.
Hmm.
For some reason, I still think that some pay-per-views are still on Sundays. Like I was used to the papers being on Sundays, but yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right, so we said B plus and B for you. Okay, and finally the last one on the card. I don't think I'm forgetting one, right? No, I don't think so.
I think
Uh,
we gotta forget two ones. I think we could forget two ones.
which one are we? Let me see.
Cody Rhodes
Oh, right.
versus Brock
Yes.
Lesnar.
That's right. Cody Rhodes, Lesnar. So that one was. So the thing about Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, like I like the feud, but it was almost like last week I mentioned it. I was like, how much of a beatdown can I keep seeing Cody Rhodes take? Every time I see Cody Rhodes, he's always getting beat down by Brock Lesnar. And the week before SummerSlam, it was no different. It was a Cody Rhodes beatdown. The match itself,
Yeah.
obviously, Brock Lesnar split his pants, and that was pretty funny to see
Hmm.
on WWE when he ripped the shorts. Uh, but aside from that, the match itself was actually not bad. It was a good little back and forth. It was very classic wrestling. You obviously had to throw in Brock Lesnar's dominance to make him like look good or whatnot. But it was a good little back and forth wrestling match, to be honest with you. So I really did enjoy it. Uh, you know, it was obviously. I remember the part where Rhodes got rattled off by the disaster kicks, and then
Yeah.
and obviously classic Rhodes with the little cutter or whatnot, and on Lesnar, and he finally got the victory with the big man. I see Sami Zayn on the floor. He got the victory over the big man, and I like
I
the
mean,
end.
yeah,
Okay,
there's a lot of things that I have to go to explain. There's a lot of F5
yeah,
suplex and everything about it. I mean, at first I was very confused at all because after the whole thing of WrestleMania between Cody Rhodes losing to Roman Reigns, I mean,
right,
they had to go for the deja vu because when John Cena just lost to Rock and they came out of the nowhere, Brock Lesnar just came out to return and they got a shaking hands and it's like you gotta be careful because you had to beat the beast right now. So it was like there was a special of deja vu. And then
yeah,
Cody Rhodes just went against Brock Lesnar. It seems like he really dominated the beast because he was like an American nightmare.
yeah,
And he returns with the conflict of vengeance. He wants sort of like the opportunity for a title, but after the go for like a but after the go for anything could happen like this one. So I would say that match is very good. That's very good because they had to go for a trilogy. But I would say this for the three part of this right now. I mean that this pure fantastic. I mean that the
yeah.
storyline. I mean this is very confusing at all. But I would say A minus for the match between Cody
Minus.
Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. A minus.
A minus. I'm gonna say A on that one. That was one of my high rated matches. It was a classic back and forth. Like I said, the suplexes, everything. It's funny because everything that you kind of expected to happen happened in that match, but it was so well
Mm-hmm.
put that you appreciated how well that match was put together. By both of those guys because both of those guys just are awesome in the ring. Cody Rhodes just to me represents that old school wrestling style, that that you're used to seeing, and so having him on there, yeah. I mean, one of my buddies said, they last week that we all felt that Cody was going to win this one just because like they personally went to go get him out of AEW. You're not just going to bring him to WWE to squash him. That would be ridiculous, It wouldn't make any sense just to bring Cody Rhodes over and just to screw him over. So we figured he was going to win it, but the way he won it, I thought was pretty cool. And did you see the afterwards where he shook his hand and it was just kind of like
yeah, that's kind
I thought
of
that was really nice.
confused. Yeah.
Apparently, they said that. Well, I mean, they could say anything and make it believable, but Triple H said that wasn't part of what was supposed to happen or whatever, and so I thought that was cool. I mean, maybe pay the respect.
Mm-hmm.
So now, what do you think happens next to Lesnar? Like, do you think he's going to take some time off and just kind of?
I think it's going to be a time off. I think it's going to be a time off after SummerSlam. It's going to be a time off.
Yeah, I don't expect to see it. We probably see him like in what's the next pay-per-view? Survivor Series, I assume, the big one.
I mean, is it gonna be a Survivor Series? Maybe it should be because it's gonna be the last one for the year.
The last big one, right, for the year. So I think, yeah, I could see him taking some time off, going to his ranch, lifting cattle or whatever over his shoulders, whatever exercise Brock Lesnar decides to do. And I could see, I don't see him coming back until like Survivor Series or something, randomly coming back and beating up somebody, whoever's in his way at that time. Probably LA Knight. Who knows? No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I mean, great match. I'd say A. I'd give it an A.
Uh-huh.
All right, and finally, I think now is when I was because I totally skipped the Brock Lesnar and Cody one. So now I'm thinking. So now it's gonna be the Jey Uso, Roman Reigns tribal combat match for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. First, I gotta say the build up to this one has been actually really is probably one of the better storylines, if not the best storyline that WWE's ever done, just because of its longevity and how actually the impact when how do you call it, when the Usos, I guess, super kicked Roman Reigns and the impact that it had on people. And obviously Paul Heyman sells that facial expression like nobody, So I think longevity wise has been great, and I've had a lot of fun with it. So it was great to see Jey Uso getting that push. I did not expect. I mean, he had to go through the match because he had to add some adversity to the match, him getting beat up, all that, and then suddenly what I didn't expect was Jimmy coming over and super kicking him. That I didn't expect. I figured there would be a feud eventually between them. I guess I just didn't think it was going to come so soon. But I actually look forward to seeing Jimmy versus Jey Uso. I mean, WWE is known for splitting up tag teams and pitting them against each other. They've done it for years. I mean, I could trace it back to Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and so I mean, they do that. So what do you? I really like the match. I'd say A+ on that one for me. What about you?
Oh man, what could I talk about Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns? I mean, that was pure cinematic storyline.
Yeah.
And for that reason that I just brought Jey to the corner, I was like very fantastic. It has been like 3 years for storyline between the bloodline between Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy, Jey, and of course because there was no Sami Zayn because he was out for the Survivor Series last year, and then they got for Jimmy and Jey Uso. I mean, that was so really fantastic. And the matter of fact that Jimmy came out as a surprise, I mean, that was really shocked because they just broke up because that was 13 years as one of those greatest tag teams in our generation. And 13 years later, they just broke up and they say, "Oh my God, Jimmy, why?" But that was pure cinematic. If they have, I just wanted to tell you, if they had like an Academy Award for wrestling, that storyline for Bloodline, they deserve all the awards, like directing, acting, and of course for the best storyline ever. Not only for this year, of this decade.
Yeah, I agree. Even seeing like Roman Reigns just play off that heel role has been amazing to watch. His progression from, when John Cena was telling him, yeah, you gotta cut this promo right. You're the next man up or whatever. And
Yep.
seeing him go from that to now the acknowledge me stuff, it's been great to see that progression for Roman Reigns. Uh, so I enjoy heel Roman Reigns. Like I enjoy hearing him talk. Finally, I never thought I would utter those words ever, but hey, here we are, 2023, right? But I'm glad that he's finally there, and I just hope they don't turn him into a. Now I kind of want to see eventually. Obviously, they're going to turn him into a face. Not hopefully not anytime soon right now, but when they turn him into a face, I want to see how his mic skills go into play because, obviously as a heel, you get to have a little bit more fun, right? You get to kind of use everything around you, use the hate, use the booze, all that. But I think once you become the face, then it gets a little hard on you. So many years did the WWE try to push Roman Reigns as a face, and it just wasn't working. And so now I'm intrigued. I'm wanting to see how Roman Reigns is once they put him in that face role. But nonetheless, I think I did say I gave this match an A in my opinion. I thought it was a good match, good storytelling, like you said. Um, yeah, a lot of the better storylines for now. So I look forward to seeing the rivalry between Jimmy and Jey Uso. Those are two great
Yeah, Jey
performers.
Uso. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that match between Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, I would say A plus. I would
yeah,
say A plus.
yeah. It was easily best match of the night. Entertaining. It had all the aspects for sure. No,
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. No, that was good, man. I liked it. So overall, as a pay per view, what would you rate SummerSlam? How would you grade SummerSlam overall?
Oh, overall for this SummerSlam, I think
Yeah,
overall for this one, I think is gonna be like B plus. Overall
yeah.
for this pay per view, B plus because due to the rivalry between Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, and even Io Sky cashing in all the Money in the Bank, LA Knight. I mean, it's gonna like a really good matches. Some of them they're not pretty good, but I would say B plus overall for this pay per view.
I agree with you. I would say B plus also. It had its high points. It had a lot of high points on it. Yeah, I think what brought the rating down was that Shayna Blazer Ronda Rousey match to me. Just because, like I said, we were all confused and we talked about it already. Um, but other than that, yeah, I'd say overall B plus for SummerSlam. Good pay per view. It was definitely a fun Saturday night watching that pay per view. So I liked it a lot. But yeah, so I thought it's really cool. You said you're from Venezuela. So my
Yes.
girlfriend and one of my co-hosts, who's rarely ever here, they're also from Venezuela, and I gotta tell you, man, the food. Oh, I
So
I
amazing,
enjoyed it.
so amazing, so amazing.
What's your favorite for you? Don't say arepas. What's your favorite?
I will say my favorite because I was growing up
Yeah,
with Barquisimeto, Venezuela. But my favorite food, like the street food, they have pepitos. It's just like a
Pitos.
Philly sandwich,
Philly
just like a
cheesesteak. Yeah,
Philly chill
basically.
steak.
Yeah,
But there's different because they had to
yeah.
put up the bread after the course. They had the meat, chicken, all these kind of the stuff like that. They had to put all the sauces. I mean, that's really good. And
Pitos. Yeah,
they have empanadas, which is every morning that I just woke up with my grandfather
yeah.
and also I just wanted to think about it. It's really good because I was eating like between two or three empanadas, just like with chicken or just like a beef or like carautas con queso, which is black
Oh
beans with
yeah.
cheese.
Yep.
That was
Hmm.
so amazing.
So I got to tell you. So I don't know if you saw. I was in Argentina for like about close to 3 weeks. Like a week. My trip ended like a week ago, and I didn't realize like because this is the first time I go to Buenos Aires how much of Venezuelan influence there is in Buenos Aires, and so
Yeah.
um, I mean and so even my girlfriend's mom like lives there, and it was such an amazing time. So we went to a few like Venezuelan spots, and so they had me eat the how do you call it the Argentinian hot dog first,
Ah,
and then
yes.
yeah, and so then I went to the Venezuelan one. I got the Venezuelan hot dog. Oh my god, it
That
knocks it out of
was
the park.
look amazing. And even though that I was because every time that I had to go for the weekend, I had to go for the hot dogs, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, that was so
It's
delicious."
it's in a different. It's a whole different level. Like like I just can't believe how many how many like what you can put on there that makes it taste so good. And I don't know. It was just an amazing place. So you say you're in the Carolinas, right?
Yeah,
And
I'm living in North Carolina. Yes, I'm living in North
how
Carolina. Yes.
do you have any Venezuelan spots over there?
Oh yes, there's a
Is
Venezuela
there?
spots right now. Yes,
Yeah.
there's actually three. First, there is the Latin corner, which is to provide all the Venezuelan food, like uh
Mhm.
like candies. They had Nesti. Also, they got for wieners, everything, and they have one for like Alice Sushi Express. I think they
Okay.
sold not only sushis, but also they just sold empanadas. And boy,
Yeah.
those are really good.
Yeah. The empanadas. I was trying some empanadas over there, and when I was in Argentina, also,
Yeah,
dude, the empanadas were like amazing. They're amazing.
those
Obviously,
look
so
good.
yeah. What's funny is that I always laugh at my girlfriend always says every time you go, we have a good spot here in Houston called it's the outskirts of Houston. It's called Katy, Texas, and there's a lot of Venezuelan influence there in Katy, Texas. So one of my favorite spots that we go to that my girlfriend introduced me to is called what was it? El
Mm-hmm.
Gourmet, El
Yep.
Gourmet, and so it's Venezuelan based, obviously, and so I'm a big fan of the arepa pelua.
Oh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, I never tried it, and ever since that, like that's my thing. And the tequeños are amazing.
That's
Like,
like the cheese sticks. Those are like cheese
yes,
sticks. That are the
yeah,
if you guys are like the mozzarella sticks, but those tequeños are really good. Especially they have one with the half salad, half cheese, and half candy, which is called
oh wow,
guayaba.
we have it. Okay. The tequeños, that green sauce that they
They
put
have another
in,
call for a green one. That's
yeah,
called for that. It's called like the salsa de ajo, but it's just like a salsa de ajo. But that was so good.
yeah.
If they use it
So
for
yeah,
empanadas, that's so really good.
they do. Yeah, they do. And it was amazing, dude. Like I gotta tell you, I have a lot of fun, and every once in a while,
Yeah.
like I tell when we tell my girlfriend when we can't find anything to eat, I was like, so you want to go to the gourmet? It's there. It's like it's a few minutes away, but I'll go and grab us a few arepas, some tequeños. She had I think the last time we went was maybe like a week ago. She had a pepito. No, last Thursday because we were setting up her classroom and we had a what was it? A pepito. She had a pepito and I had one of the hot dogs. It was amazing, man. Like I said, Venezuelan food. Ever since I was introduced to it, a
Yeah, it
whole
is.
nother level. So for any of our viewers, if you've never tried Venezuelan food, you're missing out. It'll change your life. You need to try it out. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what? That's awesome. All right, well, Rafael, I want to thank you for joining us today, man. I appreciate you know being on the show and just like going through these SummerSlam results, which I feel like we kind of we pretty much felt the same way about it, and so I thought that was awesome. But like I
Yes.
said, I'll keep trying the Venezuelan food. This is I feel like I'm a Mexican that got converted over to Venezuelan food, so that's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to North Carolina next time, I
Uh-huh.
will recommend to visit of the Latin Corner, and of course, I just recommended you of Alice Sushi Express. They brought the best
Okay.
empanadas ever.
What was it called? One more time. What was it called?
Alice Sushi Express.
Ah, La Sushi
Alice
Express.
Sushi
Okay.
Express. Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. If I'm ever around there, I know where to go for some good Venezuelan food. All right, guys.
Yes.
So please follow Rafael Chacin on his Twitter at Capitan Rafucho. It's an awesome name, by the way. Awesome name. I'm assuming Captain America, right? Because I saw the shield on the back on your
Yeah,
picture.
yeah, yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's habit to go for Captain America and everything. But also, I have a
I got him
YouTube
back here.
channel called Rafael Chacin. Also, you can subscribe me on my YouTube channel as Rafael Chacin, and of course, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram as Capitan Rafucho because it means like a Captain America,
Mhm.
and that's one of those names that go because what they call Rafael Jesus, they just call Rafucho. That's why they call him from.
That makes sense. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that makes sense. Oh, I didn't know because of that. That's awesome. But yeah, please check him out. It's very entertaining to watch. Also, I want a big shout out to our guys at Let's Talk Sport. Please follow them up on Twitter, or sorry, X, whatever you want to call them, at Let's Talk
Yeah.
Sport. Also, our friends at Sideline Sports. Also, follow them up on X at Sideline Sport One. Finally, our good friends over there in Philly or wherever they are, Mitch and them at Hardcore Sports _. Thank you, Hardcore Sports, for letting us use your platform to put the show on there. So I appreciate y'all. Nonetheless, the last thing, please follow us up on our Instagram account at Just Fans Pod. We're trying to grow those numbers there. So thank you guys for joining us. And that'll be it for tonight. We'll see y'all later. And Rafa, I got to have you back on the show again, man.
All right. Have a good one, folks.
All right, man. We'll see y'all later. Have a good time and hopefully keep enjoying Raw. See ya.
Happy Monday. Feliz lunes. Saludos a todos.
Feliz lunes. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches a todos. Peace out.
Peace out.